We're starting with the intro to the scrolling shooter game and how to actually create one. So we've done a few things here so far. What we've done is we've got a sprite, which is a spaceship, and then made an object of that spaceship. By now you should understand how to set sprites up, and then from a sprite set up an object. I'm going to look at the properties of this one, and what we've got here is we've got our normal movements, and they are left key down. That's the left key is left, the up key is up, the right key is right, and the down key is down. Now we're going to work on a couple of other things at the moment, but for this one, that's how to actually move it around. So the next thing we need to do is to start to look at how are we going to get this to shoot bullets so that it can fight the enemy. The first thing we need is look at the room, and what we've done here is just drag this across, so we've got our fighter in our room. Now we need to shoot bullets, and we want them to come from the front here. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to use the space bar to shoot our bullets. So we add an event, and in this case it's the key press space. So it'd be add event, keyboard, or key pressed rather. You don't do the key down, and why you don't do the key down is that will give you a stream of bullets, whereas the key press will give you one bullet per press. Then you come down here and you choose space, which we have, and that's there. Now the next thing we need to do is to, once we've pressed the space down, we need to create the instance of the bullet or the missile or whatever you like to call it. So we need to go and find a missile. So we're going to do that. Okay, to find our bullet, we've gone to the Game On resource that I shared with you, to the this folder here, and then sprites and bullets. Now we've got a variety of bullets. We're going to choose this one will do. So we open this one, and that brings it into our sprite, and yes, we do want to continue importing it, and there we go, there is our bullet. Now first thing is, you notice that we have a sort of tannish or khaki background. We want to get rid of that and make that clear. So how do we do that? We go to edit image, and we go to the magic wand, and we click that, and that then chooses all that khaki area, and we press delete. Now that means that checkered background, now it means it's transparent. Just do that to each one of these because it's a GIF animation. So click on the khaki background, and you'll notice that each one of them, and this one you'll need to do 4 times. Each one of them now is transparent. Okay, so here is our sprite, and we're going to call that SPR missile. SPR obviously stands for sprite. No, we don't want to import another one, and that will do. So we close that now. Now we need to make obviously an object. So create. We want to call this object missile, obj underscore missile. We choose the missile sprite. Now we need to make it solid because there's going to be collisions here. Don't need to worry about anything else or events at the moment. So there's our missile. Next thing we need to do is to be able to shoot that missile when we press the space. So let's come back here to our object spaceship, and what we're going to do now is when we press space, we want the object missile, which is here. And we're going to put it this. Now, what this means is that normally there's a 0, 0 here, which means it will start at the top left-hand corner of the image. We don't want that. We want it to start in the middle of the image out the front. To do that, we may have to move it 50 spaces across to be about the middle of the spaceship, and -10 means it goes up 10 places, just so it starts at the front. We also do relative because we want this to start from the actual spaceship itself. If we leave relative off, then this is this in the room, which means it'll be somewhere up in the top left-hand corner of the room, which is pointless. So we go to create instance, so we're just going to move this across a little bit. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of this for a minute. Yep. So what we want to do is we want to create an instance, and the way we do that is we go down to instances and we get create instance, which we've got here, and we fill this in. Now all that does is create the instance. Then we want to set what's happening. So we need to set our direction, and we need to go to our movement, and this is here, and we can set a direction fixed. In other words, it's going to move in that direction from the beginning. So there's our direction. And finally, we want to set speed, which again is this area. And I'm just choosing this one a little bit. And we come down to movement, and you can't quite see this, but there's a triple arrowhead key under movement, and we're going to choose that. Now the direction, we don't have to worry about that because we've already set it. The speed is going to be 4, which means that's how fast it's travelling up from the spaceship. So let's have a look. Actually, I know how we can do this. There we go. So there's, by the way, these things here you can magnify or zoom in and zoom out on your workspace. And also, if you want to move them up or down, use the scroll key on the mouse, and that will allow you to do that. Okay, now what are we doing next? Now what we've done now is we've set the missiles to be shot from the spaceship. So always save your project when you've made a change, because if disaster happens and the whole thing locks up, then it means what you can do is just go back to your save version. So let's just see how it's going. We'll run our little game here. Now it says we have a problem. Okay, fatal error. Action number 1. It's in a step event, which we've left there. Okay, so we're going to fix that. We should have taken this out, which we will. So we'll delete this. And let's try again. Okay, so here is our spaceship. We can move to the left with the left key and so on. We can fire this and we see that nothing happens. So what we need to do is work out what the problem is there. If we do another one, we're actually moving this instead of our missiles. So we have to go back to the drawing board. Okay, let's have a look. What we've done is instead of 50, we've done 25, so it starts from the middle. The second thing is we've got set direction fixed. Just check what that's relating to. And that says self, which means that we're talking about the spaceship. But we don't want that to be related to the spaceship. We want it to be related to the object missile. So we click that. And then finally, we want the set speed. Again, we want it relating to the object missile. Okay, now let's see what happens when we try and run it. Save it first and run. Okay, and now we're getting it basically from the middle, and you can see every time I press the space key, if I hold it down, I still only get one leaving from there. So we might have to adjust that number from 25 to maybe 23, but our missiles are shooting.